So Nathan, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me.
And I'm just wondering if you can give me an overview of what Hive does.
So Hive Digital Technologies was the very first public Bitcoin miner ever, all the way back in 2017. In the past 8 years, there have been many, many more that have come on the scene. Hive was the first to be green energy focused. So we source clean, renewable energy from around the world, first with an AI strategy as well. Hive is the most efficient Bitcoin miner on the planet. I'm a little biased, but in addition, the big story is in 2025, we're quadrupling our global footprint between now and the end of the year. So that'll take us to 25 exahash per second. And, we're aiming to target about 3% of the global Bitcoin network using green and clean energy.
That's really cool. Because right now I think there's a lot of, fears and maybe unwarranted fears about, even with AI and Bitcoin mining, about the toll it's going to take on our environment and into the future. And I mean, how does Hive kind of solve those or mitigate those issues when it comes to mining?
Hive is very intentional. Our team for years scoured the globe to find the best opportunities with clean energy and also the best ROI. So we have operations in Canada, in Sweden, and now Paraguay. Paraguay is the large part of our 2025 transformative growth story. A lot of people don't know very much about Paraguay. That's actually not a bad thing. That means they're not in the news for all the wrong reasons, like some other jurisdictions, maybe in Latin, South America. Paraguay is stable. Our team has been there many times, developing deep relationships with president and also leaders across the political spectrum. So no matter who is in power there, we'll continue to invest in the country. Another interesting thing is Paraguay. Most people don't know they have so much excess hydroelectric power. So
Really?
they've got the largest dam in the Western Hemisphere. It's 5 kilometers long.
Oh, wow.
The country of Paraguay only uses 10 to 15% of the electricity they produce.
Okay.
Historically, they've sold that excess power to neighboring countries like Argentina or Brazil, who have historically been very delinquent in paying. And what are you going to do if your big brother Brazil is a little delinquent paying? So it's a win-win situation for a company like Hive to mine Bitcoin with renewable energy. Paraguay, in return, they get consistent monthly payments in US dollars.
And does that go to the Like, where does that money go to? Does it go back into the communities? Does it go back to the people in Paraguay?
So yes, we definitely do invest in the communities as well. We're supporting 18 local schools there to power those schools and help with the infrastructure. But yes, we've established long-term agreements with the power provider there, which is hugely beneficial as well.
And is this a newer contract or project?
It's been in the works for over a year. But we officially closed a few months ago, and early last month in April, we officially energized and commenced operations there. And we will be scaling very rapidly now. Pace is expected to accelerate to add 1 exahash to our capacity every 2 weeks.
So I'm going to ask you, I'm a bit of a non-technical person, so what does an exahash mean?
So it's basically a unit of processing power. Whereas your laptop, your computer, maybe 10, 15 years ago, you could mine Bitcoin on this machine, but you wouldn't have very much luck today. So Bitcoin is mined with machines called ASICs, which are made entirely they do one thing and one thing only. It's like a drag car. It can go very fast in a straight line, but you wouldn't be able to use Photoshop. You wouldn't be able to play games on this. So these ASICs, we have thousands and thousands of them in our renewable data centers. They are performing hundreds of millions, trillions, quintillions of calculations every single second.
Is that space math?
To mine Bitcoin. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to get too technical.
Right.
But really, Bitcoin mining comes down to a physics equation. But from a high level, it's a unit of your processing power.
See. So it's a great example of how mining can give back, not just take. Can you talk about how the heat recovery model works and whether you see it as a blueprint for more sustainable mining operations globally?
100%. Yes. So that specific facility, these machines mining Bitcoin, they generate a lot of heat, and that excess heat can be used for a variety of different applications. For example, at this facility, we use it to heat a whirlpool manufacturing facility. Has 175 employees. Saves them hundreds of thousands of dollars per year. Across the world, I've seen other examples. Some people use this excess heat for greenhouses or for shrimp farming. I think it really drives innovation.
So it's not just taking, it's not just being like, we're taking all of this to mine Bitcoin, but we're giving back to all the communities. So it really is like a win-win for both.
Let me give you an analogy or a metaphor. So a company is Hive, right? You can see the bee. So in nature, did you know that honey is one of the only foods created without harming any other life? Kind of think about it.
Unless you get stung. No, sorry.
True. Yes. Beekeepers, they wear that. But in that same vein, Hive, we generate financial value, economic value, using the Earth's natural resources without depleting. And I think that that's a really powerful analogy. And so in ways like you mentioned, yes, whether it's supporting the local schools through their infrastructure, or whether it's heating a greenhouse or a whirlpool manufacturing facility, I think the industry as a whole and Hive has just scratched the surface of the possibilities. It's still really early, and to me, it's extremely exciting.
It is.
I think at Hive, we're not necessarily focused on the next quarter. EBITDA, it's definitely a high priority. We have a duty to our shareholders, but we're also thinking long term, in decades, as we architect this decentralized future.
So energy prices are going up and Bitcoin rewards are going down. How are companies like Hive staying profitable?
That's a great question. I'm also going to float an interesting idea to you. Can you name very many other industries in the world where every 4 years their revenues are cut in half overnight? Because that's what happens to Bitcoin miners every 4 years with the Bitcoin halving.
Right.
And so Bitcoin miners cannot necessarily control the price of Bitcoin. Hence, they can't necessarily control their revenues. So the best operators will control their expenses, the inputs, the energy prices, your overhead, how many employees you have. Because, some companies have hundreds and hundreds of employees that they have to pay every 2 weeks or every month, whether they mine 1,000 Bitcoin or 0 Bitcoin. And so Hive, like I said, is the most efficient miner on the planet. We have approximately 25 employees, so very lean and mean, controlling those prices. We don't have any private jets, no exorbitant executive compensation. So definitely keeping a close eye on our expenses. To your point, though, energy prices, yes, going up. And so that's why we have intentionally scoured the world looking for low-cost renewable energy, which we have now found in Paraguay as part of our expansion.
Right. Okay. And also in Quebec too.
And Quebec and Sweden, where we've hedged very, very low energy costs for the next year.
All right. And where, I'd say, moving forward into the future, do you see Hive going? Where plans?
So I think there's kind of two directions I'd like to answer. Number one, on the Bitcoin front, we're positioned to be one of the fastest growing Bitcoin miners this year, taking us to 25 exahash. I see opportunities to go beyond that. Hive, at the beginning of this year, actually officially relocated our head office to the United States, to Texas. A lot of that was driven by the recent election results,
It was a Trump administration.
a lot
That's okay.
friendlier towards this industry. So we definitely see opportunities. Texas is obviously the U.S. capital of Bitcoin mining. Over half of all mining is there. But apart from Bitcoin mining, there's the high performance computing side. You know, when it all comes down to it, Hive is a data center company. We own, we build, we operate next generation data centers using renewable energy. And so the access to that power and those facilities can also be leveraged for, it's called HPC, high performance computing, which is what powers ChatGPT and all these AI applications. And so, you know, Hive was the very first, all the way back 2022, with an AI strategy. Now all the Bitcoin miners are coming into the fold, but we've got years and years of experience. Hive, the only one that's an NVIDIA preferred partner. That's a distinction they don't give out like candy. A lot of that is driven by our green energy focus as well. And so to your point, where Bitcoin mining, the revenue can be volatile. You know, I mean, when you zoom out long enough time frame, it's pretty much up and to the right. But over the short term, it's up and down.
Yes.
High performance computing, AI revenue is more steady. And so that provides diversified revenue streams. And our high performance computing segment, Buzz HPC, is rapidly developing as well.
Good. So it sounds like there's like big things ahead.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.